I'm gonna say something, and I know it's gonna cause a lot of craziness, but I don't believe in the big chop haircut. I say this because cutting off so much hair will force you to style it 1,000 times more than you ever would have if you just cut off less. I didn't start seeing real growth in my hair until I was 20 years old, and I got my hair cut when I was 17. You're inflicting the same damage to the hair, just in a previously much more healthy spot, because your healthier hair is probably around here, and if you cut it to here, your ends are going to start splitting up into your healthy hair, and it's just going to create like the same problem. Like, the only way this won't happen is if you're comfortable with your hair and you don't need to keep heat styling it. I know that there's the strength over length argument, and that is very true. If you are comfortable with your hair, if you're a curly girl and you have curly hair and your hair is healthy and you're used to it, it will definitely work for you if you don't start the cycle over and over and over again. It forced me to start heat styling the hair closest to my scalp, which is the virgin hair, the freshly grown hair. That's the healthiest, strongest hair that you have on your head. And as soon as you start heat styling it, it starts to break down the hair shaft and the hair cortex, and it's never going to be the same. I started wearing extensions because I didn't notice any growth and caused even more damage by trying to make myself look better. In my experience, growing my hair this long and cutting it in intervals has worked out really well for me. I still have some damage and split ends, but I still have the length that I want. So I guess I'll start off with explaining to you my first and last big chop haircut. At this time, I didn't know it was something you did to make your hair healthier. I just wanted to get a haircut. So, oh my god, this haircut, oh my god, it really makes me cringe when I think about it, because I remember sitting in the chair, I was just talking to her. I had about shoulder length straight hair at the time, so at this time I only ever got haircuts with dry straight hair because I had to know how much hair was going to be left over after the haircut. And she was talking to me, she just cut it off and handed me the ponytail. So yeah, I knew it was a bad idea as soon as I saw my hair. And then she proceeded to use thinning shears and basically cut my hair in the back as close as you can get to the nape. Like, I almost had no hair in the back of my head. It was crazy. And from that point on, because my hair was so thin, this forced me to start styling the canopy even more, which now, even 4 years later, it still hasn't really totally come back. I had to start straightening the coarser underlayer of my hair because I couldn't just hide it underneath my canopy anymore, because my hair is so short and so thin that I couldn't just hide it. And when I had longer hair to about here when I was around 16, I could definitely hide it under my hair. But when I had the Rihanna bob, I remember having to reach around to like these like Shirley Temple ringlets that I have right here and straighten them. And I didn't even think it could get to that. When I was 16, 17, like that hair was just straight to me. It wasn't even remotely, we all like to think we are less attached to our hair than we really are. And I know from having grown out this much hair in the past 4 years that I am very attached to my hair, and I don't want to cut it off. I have no plans in getting a crazy haircut ever again. And the only person I can really credit as not being like this is Shameless Maya. I absolutely love Maya. She is such an inspiration. She cut off, actually, she shaved her head. She shaved all of her hair off because she was tired of being defined by the dead protein that grows out of her head. And, you know, while I can agree with her, I'm not as hardcore as she is. The last haircut that I got, I was depressed for like 3 days because I didn't need to get a haircut, and I knew that when I sat down in the chair. And when I got up from that salon chair, I was so unhappy. I honestly can't even describe to you how unhappy I was with that hair. I haven't curled my hair in a while on purpose because I noticed that my hairline was starting to get a lot more frizzy, and that's because I had been styling my hairline more, because I noticed about my curl patterns that I don't start to get a curl until about eyebrow level. And I'm so jealous of girls that can get a super, super tight root curl and then have a crazy amount of lift. And I'm sure I might be able to get that if I cut my hair. But the thing is, I have a different curl pattern all over my head because my hair is so damaged. I haven't really talked about my straightening with you guys because I'm really not proud of it. I don't really like talking about it. It's really not something I like to share. I'm pretty ashamed of it. Well, I did get a chemical straightening or chemical relaxer. I did straighten my hair for 5+ years, twice a day, 3 times a day. I blew my hair dry every night. It was horrible, and my hair, when I think, I have one moment in my head where I was 17 going in 18, about to go start my senior year, and I cut my hair to here for the Rihanna bob. Okay, I'm from Florida, so on the last day of school everyone goes to the beach. I'm not as savvy about my hair as I am now, even though I thought I was. I didn't bring any products with me to put in my hair after I got out of the water. So when I went back to my friend's house, my hair literally looked like Simba. And not in a good way. It was like, almost like I had put my finger in an electrical socket, and my hair was just, it was big, it was like a triangle head frizz. Like it was just triangle head straight dead hair. It was horrible. Since Squish to Condish, my hair has become so healthy. I can completely notice a difference. After 3 months of doing Squish to Condish, my hair is probably the healthiest it's ever been in my entire life. I have never in my life seen my hair look like this. I have never looked in the mirror in my adult life, seen my hair look this way. And so that's why I don't want to cut it. That's why I love my hair so much. That's why I made this channel. Because when I was a kid, I would remember looking into the mirror and not being happy with the way my hair looked. Because even when I was a kid, I didn't really think that you could like change the way that your hair looked, and I kind of wish I kept on thinking that, because I got a chemical relaxer when I was around 12 years old, and that's probably my biggest regret of my whole life. And you know, obviously my curls are back, you know, it's not permanent. When I was a kid, my dad used to say to me, you know how much money women pay to have hair like yours? And I was like, oh no, da 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 da. And they really do. And you know, even my mom said I was asking her a few things about my chemical relaxer, if she remembered anything. And she was like, I couldn't talk you out of it. I just couldn't talk you out of it. And unless you specifically want that haircut, unless you say, I want a pixie, I want a bob, I want this, I want that, unless you specifically want that, I really wouldn't recommend cutting off so much hair at once, because it's just too much of a change. If you've been growing that hair, if you have hair as long as mine, you've been at least growing it out for 2 to 3 years, at least, maybe even 5 years. So if you cut it off, it takes less than 3 seconds to cut all your hair off. But honestly, I really don't think it's a good idea. And only if you're really comfortable with how your hair is at the current state and the way that you want it to be, I really don't think it's a good idea for you to do. And I really think that regular trims, you know, 2, 3, 4 inch trims are a much better investment in your hair, I guess you could say, where you are cutting off a good amount of damage, but you're still allowing yourself to like the way that you look. This idea has been on my mind for a really long time. And I've kind of hesitated making this video because I'm not really sure how everyone will react, but I've never heard anyone say this before, so I kind of think it might cause a little bit of an issue. But we'll see what happens. Whatever anyone says, I will not be getting a big chop, no matter what. The only way I got my hair to look like this was by constantly moisturizing, constantly conditioning, Squish to Condish, healthy oils, regular trims, biotin, coconut oil masks. Don't get me started on this topic or else I'll never shut up. I explain everything I said in much more detail on my blog, so go check it out at whirlsandcurls.wordpress.com. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Does this look like a heart? Does it look good?